The South Union Township Supervisors presents the South Union Township Sports Network today from Yough High School. It's girls high school basketball as the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs take on the Yough Lady Cougars. Hi everyone, I'm Joshua Scully alongside Bill Dice. South Union Township Sports Network coverage is a joint cooperative venture with Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, along with Armstrong and Breezeline Cable, and our friends at CUTV, including Gary Smith. Again, Joshua Scully and Bill Dice here with you tonight. It's the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs visiting the Yough Lady Cougars. And before we get this one started, Bill and I would like to share with you what Bill really specializes in, and that's bracketology, because we are at the end of the regular season, and the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs are playoff bound, and Bill is going to tell you as he reads the proverbial tea leaves what he expects to see in the playoffs.
Yeah, Josh, I just hope they can hear us out there, because I feel like I'm in the subwoofer right now. My goodness, there's about 15 people here, and it's just blasting my ears out. So hopefully our listeners can hear us loud and clear and not the music over top of us.
It almost feels like, I don't think this is possible, but are the speakers somehow beneath us? The whole bleacher section is moving.
They might have some extra underneath on the sides of us in our ears. I don't know, man. They're everywhere, but it's loud, and hopefully everybody can hear us all right out there. So here we go. All right, Section 1, what I'm going to do first, Josh, I'm just going to give us a breakdown of which teams are in and which playoff spots are still up for grabs. Then I'll share my bracket I came up with today. All right, so Section 1, we have Oakland Catholic. They're in. They're 12-1 over in the section, 18-3 overall. Then you have North Catholic, also 12-1 and 17-3 overall. Knock is 9-4, 10-10 overall, and Burrow is 8-5, 13-3 overall. So that section's locked up. All four teams are in. Nobody else can get in. That's the four are going in, and that's it. No matter what happens tonight, those are your four playoff teams from Section 1. Section 2, we have Blackhawk. They're 12-0 in the section, 18-2 overall. Beaver, 9-2 in the section, 15-4 overall. Central Valley is in. Then we have the fourth place spot is up for grabs still tonight. Hampton, it's in between Hampton and Hopewell. The two teams split in the regular season. Hampton plays at second place Beaver tonight, and Hopewell plays at third place Central Valley. So if we go out on a limb and just say both of those teams lose, which wouldn't be an upset either way, then both of them will get in as a fourth place team from that section. So my prediction is they both lose tonight. They both get in because they both split through the regular season. So those are Section 2 playoff teams. Section 3, that's where our Lady Mustangs play, of course. So we got Elizabeth forward. They're 13-0, 17-3. They play at South Park tonight. They've locked up the first place in our section. South Park is 11-2, 14-5 overall. Like I said moments ago, they play EF tonight. And of course, our Lady Mustangs are here tonight at Yough. They're 10-3, 15-5 overall. And Bell Vernon plays at Southmoreland tonight. They're 7-6, 10-11 overall. So our section's sewed up. Nobody can get in below them. So that's our four section playoff teams. So if you take a look at it, it's kind of tough, Josh, looking at this bracket, trying to figure out who's going to play where and who's going to be what seed. But if you take a look at it, I would say Blackhawk would be the number one seed. They're 12-0, 18-2 overall. Their only two losses are the 6A Mount Lebanon way back on November 30th. That was their opening game. Then they also lost to Shady Side Academy 48-51 on December 21st. And Shady Side Academy is no slouch. They're 20-0 in 3A. So they lost two quality teams. They played up against Mount Lebanon and lost to them. So I would say they're the number one seed. Plus, they are the defending WPIAL champions in 4A girls basketball, and also the defending state champions, Josh. I'm sure they lost some girls to graduation, but their record, speaks for itself, and I'm sure some of those girls were on that team, so they got the experience that last year as members of that team, if not, important players. Number two seed, I'm going to go with Elizabeth Ford here, Josh. just for the fact that they won their section outright. You know, they were 13-0 in the section, 17-3 overall. They lost to Avonworth way back on December 6th. They lost to Bethel Park 75-79 on December 7th. And they also lost to TJ back on December 9th. That was a tough 4-day stretch for them. They had 3 losses in 4 days, but they have not lost in their last 16 games. They're on a 16-game winning streak. You know, we've seen them here against the Lady Mustangs a couple times, and games the Lady Mustangs could have won.
Right.
But I would say they're the number 2 seed just for the fact of they won their section outright. But really 2 to 4 could go anyway, in my opinion. Number 3 seed, I'm going to give it to Oakland Catholic. Even though they're going to tie for that section unless there's some kind of big upset tonight, we're going to tie at 13-1. But Oakland Catholic has beaten North Catholic in the most recent game, so I'll give them a nod. They got very similar overall records, 18-3, 17-3. No big upsets on their schedule either way. In fact, if you look at Oakland Catholic, the only team they've lost to in the WPIAL is North Catholic. For their 3 losses, they lost to York Suburban on December 1st, North Catholic on December 11th, and they lost to Western Reserve from Ohio a little bit later in the season. So, and also Oakland Catholic, Josh, they were 26-3 last year in 5A, and they got to drop down a division. So that's kind of crazy to think about. They didn't do the Lady Mustangs any favor dropping them down either.
They did not.
So let's see, we're up to number 4. So that brings us to the 4th seed. So I would go with North Catholic here. You know, they're co-section champs. You know, they have the pedigree. They lost last year in the WPIAL finals to Blackhawk. So in their only 3 losses this season are to Greensburg Central Catholic way back on opening night, November 30th. They lost December 1st to Mount Lebanon. That Mount Lebanon squad, Josh, from 6A, they've given 4A teams a fit here at the top. They beat 2 of the top teams in 4A. And they also lost to Oakland Catholic. So that's why I give him the 4 seed. Now here's where it gets interesting, Josh. The 5 seed. Now the Post-Gazette has Beaver ranked as the number 5 team in 4A. And our Lady Mustangs, I have ranked number 6. So I'm going to go with Beaver. I'm just going to follow the Post-Gazette because I know Fayette County, they get the opposite of the bias. What would that be? Non-biased, right, or unbiased maybe towards Fayette County. You know, the teams up north usually gets a little more benefit of the doubt when it comes to the seeding. So I'm just going to go Beaver at number 5, then our Lady Mustangs at 6. But Josh, you know as well as I do, we've been covering the Lady Mustangs all year. They can play with anybody. They can beat anybody.
Oh yeah.
You know, when things are going right. And if you look, and I know you have this figured out too, they've lost 5 games by a total of 16 points.
Which is incredible.
That 5 games by 16 points. And, you know, they played with some tough teams as well in those losses. Indiana's a top 5A team. They lost to Morgantown out of West Virginia, who's a top team in their state. And they lost to EF twice, who's a top team in 4A. Who's their 5th loss, Josh?
They lost to Morgantown 2-11
at South Park early in the season,
and
that was a tough
2 points.
And that was a tough little stretch there for the Lady Mustangs too. That's when Ariel and Sumter went down with an injury. They lost that game at South Park on December 12th by 2 points. They lost to Morgantown the next night by 2 points. Then they came back and lost to EF by 4 points just 3 days later. So that was a tough 5-day stretch for the Lady Mustangs there. But they seem to be healthy. They've played well all season, but it's good to see everybody out there now. And I just look for them to compete as that 6th seed. And I don't think that's a 6th seed anybody wants to play in their opening round. Because you look at it, Josh, we're going to have 13 teams in this bracket. So the top 3 teams, are going to get byes. So Blackhawk will get a bye, Oakland Catholic will get a bye, and EF will get a bye on my bracket. But if you look at the rest of the bracket, I have Central Valley Knock, winner playing Blackhawk, North Catholic versus Hampton, playing the winner of Beaver versus Bell Vernon. Then if you look at the other side, Elizabeth Ford will play the winner of South Park and Burrell. Then Oakland Catholic will play the winner of Laurel Highlands and Hopewell. So I have the Lady Mustangs taking on the Lady Vikings of Hopewell, and that should be a home game for the Lady Mustangs, so hopefully we'll be able to bring it to everybody. And, we look forward to a nice long run. The Lady Mustangs made it all the way to the semifinals last year, the WPIALs, before losing to the eventual winner, who was Blackhawk. So, they shown they can play in the playoffs. They're not just some regular season team that beats up on Southmorelands and Mount Pleasants and teams like that. They can play with anybody and beat anybody. So, I'm sure you look forward to the playoffs as well as I do, and I'm just excited to see the playoff brackets come out on Monday. I'm sure they'll be posted everywhere, but, we'll be checking those out to see who they're going to play and when to set our schedules.
And hopefully that committee is listening to our broadcast tonight, Bill, because you've done a lot of work for them already.
I hope so. Yeah, should I just send them my bracket?
Right.
Here, just give us
send
this.
it in.
Actually, if that's the case, let me flip this a little bit. Let's put Beaver as the 3 seed. Just give him some respect. Because I'd much rather play Beaver than Oakland Catholic as our second round game, but But all these second round matchups are going to be good matchups, man. You look Blackhawk versus Knox, Central Valley should be a good one. Beaver, North Catholic will be a good matchup. Then you look Elizabeth Fork with the potential South Park rematch. They play tonight, so depending on that outcome, it could change things a little bit. But I look for EDF to take care of business. I believe that's at South Park though, so that gives them a little bit of a home court advantage. So we'll have to see what happens, I guess. But as of right now, those are my projections.
There's a lot of familiarity between those two teams, obviously. They would have played each other twice already.
Right, and just like the Lady Mustangs, they played EF 3 times last year, right?
Yes, they did play 3 times
so
last year.
they faced each time, and, as a top team in your section, you never want to really play other teams in your section in the playoffs because they know how to play against you. You'd rather play some team that's really only seen you on film, not actually it's been on the court with you multiple times. So it should be interesting. I'm all hyped up. I got my cucumber gator juice up here, and I'm ready to go.
One thing, Bill, that I think you said perfectly, looking at your bracket before we started tonight, nobody in the second round, so when you get to those buys, there's not a single team, sans maybe a wild upset in the first round, who's going to say, our second round situation is not too bad. It immediately becomes very difficult for everybody.
Yes, and only having 3 sections in 4A makes it a little bit tougher too. You don't have to win as many games, but you don't get as many cupcake games either. There's really no cupcake games. Right. Maybe if you're a high seed playing a low seed in round 1, but after that, every game is going to be, difficult for whoever it is.
We're certainly hopeful for the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs that coming out of this game tonight with the regular season drawing to a conclusion, they find themselves in the best possible circumstance. And as Bill pointed out, unfortunately, we certainly do seem to see teams from Fayette County not always getting the most favorable bounces when it comes to the bracket in really any sport. And hopefully for the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs, they'll get at least a little bit of credit. This is a team that, of course, was very good last season, enjoyed a nice playoff run last season, really played the best of the best once the playoffs started. And this is a team this year that just has not lost badly ever, regardless of who they're playing.
And Josh, if you look at the Lady Mustangs schedule, you got to give Coach Stu Davis and his coaching staff a lot of credit. They went out and played some tough non-conference games to get them ready for the playoffs, so they're ready to play. Teams like Oakland Catholic, North Catholic, whoever it may be, Blackhawk. They've faced good teams, so they're going to, when we get to that playoff matchup, they're not going to be shell-shocked. That another team is out here playing good.
No, not at all. And I think one thing that the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs also have in their corner is the fact that, and you mentioned too, some of the other schools, Oakland Catholic, North Catholic, had gone pretty far afield to play some different competition. Laurel Highlands has done that too. They had the game against Morgantown, of course, and Morgantown is very good. They played University out of Morgantown, West Virginia, so they have seen some different styles of basketball, some teams that bring some different strengths. And I think that's going to help prepare them, too, for the postseason. We're going to pause here briefly on the South Union Township Sports Network as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
exhibition of skills developed by the students in an educational setting where sportsmanship is an expectation. Please let the players play. Let the coaches coach. Let the officials officiate. Let the spectators be positive. By meeting the challenge of sportsmanship in the bleachers, you're providing a good example for students as well as representing your school with dignity and pride. Entering the court, booing, taunting, and intimidating officials is unacceptable behavior and could be grounds for removal from this contest. Please visit our concessions area, but remember, food and drink are not permitted in the gym. The Yough School District wishes everyone a positive and exciting experience. And now, please stand for the our national anthem. Hold on 1 second, technical difficulties.
Welcome back to Yough High School on the South Union Township Sports Network. Joshua Scully and Bill Dice with you tonight. The Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs come into this contest with an overall record of 15-5. They are 10-3 in the conference. The Yough Lady Cougars 11-10 overall, 5-8 in the conference. Tonight, the Lady Mustangs will be wearing their blue uniform with a white number and red trim. The Lady Cougars will be in their white uniform with green trim and an orange number. When we come back, we'll have our starting lineups for you, and we'll have the tip-off here at Yough High School.
5'6", number 1, Maya Harris.
We'd like to take a moment and recognize our sponsors who have made this broadcast possible this evening. Your sponsors tonight are Smith Lewis Chess, CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis, attorneys at law, the Sprouse Insurance Group and Agent David Hughes, SWGI specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute, and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, Laurel Highlands Girls Basketball Boosters, and the South Union Township Supervisors, Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. Let's talk starting lineups for you now. We'll begin with the visitors, the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs. Head coach Stuart Davis brings to us tonight a starting lineup that will look like this. A 5'5 senior guard, number 1, Maya Harris. A 5'11 junior center and forward, number 2, Ayera Jenkins. A 5'9 sophomore guard, number 5, Taylor Swartfeger. A 5'10 senior forward, number 11, Ariana Sumter. And a 5'8 junior forward, number 15, Taylor Irwin. That is Harris, Jenkins, Swartfeger, Sumter, and Irwin as the starters for the Lady Mustangs tonight. The Lady Mustangs, once this one gets underway, will be working left to right across your screen. And now for the Yough Lady Cougars, who will be working right to left under head coach Brian Zanover. Starting lineup will look like this. Number 5, Carly Fitzgibbons, a 5'4 junior guard. Number 11, Brooke Weiland, a 5'11 senior guard. Number 21, Cadence Roebuck, a 5'5 senior guard. Number 22, Brooke Kowalski, a 5'6 sophomore guard. And number 32, Haley Bach, a 5'10 senior forward. That's Fitzgibbons, Weiland, Roebuck, Kowalski, and Bach. Again, the Lady Cougars, right to left across your viewing device, and the Lady Mustangs, left to right, once we get this one underway. Bill, the last time these two teams played, the outcome really heavily favored the Lady Mustangs. That was at Laurel Highlands, but we do expect a similar result tonight.
Yeah, on paper, the Lady Mustangs are big favorites in this one, Josh. But, you got to play the game. The Lady Mustangs have to come out the Cougar Mountain, a little bit of a bus trip here. They couldn't take the shortcut under the covered bridge like we did, so they had a little bit longer drive. So, you never know how it's going to affect you on a Thursday evening.
Certainly it is a nice scenic trip from Uniontown out to Yough High School. We're not far from West Newton here in the Yough School District. Here's Harris operating out of the corner. Wanted to go to the paint to Sumter, but the ball ricochets to Jenkins, who lays it up and in for two. And it's a 2-0 lead now in favor of the Lady Mustangs. Pressure here for the Mustangs is going to generate nearly a turnover. Just saving it are the Cougars. But the Lady Cougars are going to travel with the basketball just in front of the score table, and it will be Lady Mustangs basketball. Sending it in, Taylor Swartfeger, who was again wearing number 5 this evening.
And Josh, we were a little screen out there by the scores table, but it looked like Irvin may have got away with a little two-legged takedown there.
I think so.
They called a travel instead.
And they're going to get it right back. Well, the Lady Cougars here on the overthrow. So
hey, on the streets of Brownfield, they would call that a ball don't lie.
Ball moved in, and the Lady Cougars will enjoy a second possession with the basketball right now. This is number 12. Correction, number 22, Kowalski. Kowalski moving it away from us to Fitzgibbons. Fitzgibbons from the top of the key. Little shovel pass back to number 11, Weiland. Ball going to end up on the wing with number 21, Roebuck. Roebuck is going to move it back to Weiland. Weiland with the handoff to Kowalski. Kowalski back to Fitzgibbons again. And the ball to Fitzgibbons inside. Going to be blocked by Jenkins, and the ball taken away. Jenkins going to hold this one up, floats a pass over top of Roebuck, gets the ball to Harris. Now the big pass to the corner to Swartfeger, back to Harris. Harris has a dangerous shot, certainly capable of hitting that. She's going to go to Irwin for 3, and Taylor Irwin knocks that one down, and it's 5-0 now in favor of the Lady Mustangs. Pressure again, ball to Fitzgibbons. Fitzgibbons thought about a pass to the middle to Bach. Instead, she's going to be driven toward the sideline where a timeout will be taken by the Yough Lady Cougars. This is going to be a full timeout, and that will give us an opportunity to share with you about this viewing platform and the ways that you can check out these broadcasts in the future. If you're watching this game on Breezeline or Armstrong Cable, we'd like to let you know that South Union Township Sports Network games and programs are now available live online. It's easy to find. Just log on to youtube.com and search South Union Television to find the archived broadcasts, or follow the South Union Township Sports Network on Facebook for live games, facebook.com/South Union TV. The Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs out to a 5-0 advantage here in the early stages of the first quarter. And Bill and I did travel across a really rustic covered bridge to get here tonight. That covered bridge spans Sewickley Creek and has been there since 1850. That's the Bells Mills covered bridge. The sign said it could support 4 tons, which I was very grateful for. I would not want to see maybe more than 1 or 2 vehicles on that bridge at the same time. Of course, you can't pass, but I would be a little hesitant to start out until the car in front of me had completely passed that span. 1850, that bridge was there before the American Civil War by a decade.
Yeah, I wouldn't press my luck with that.
95 feet long across the Sewickley Creek, and right now the Yough Cougars are having a hard time moving the ball 9 feet, let alone 95. Jumper from Swartfeger is no good, and the Yough Cougars get the rebound there. They're going to move the ball back to Fitzgibbons, who has operated as the point guard more often than not so far in the early stages of this game. She'll defer here to number 11, to Weiland, and now they're going to work it back inside to Weiland on the give-and-go look. Rebound pulled down by Roebuck. Roebuck pulls it out and moves it to Kowalski. Kowalski bouncing through the paint to Bach. Bach is listed at 5'10", does bring some height to the proceedings. She's going to try to settle in the corner Off to Jenkins' left. Now here's the handoff back to Fitzgibbons. They go to Bach. Bach going to move it our way to Kowalski. Kowalski does split defenders, and then Jenkins takes the ball away. Feeding it ahead to Harris. Nice bounce pass across to Swartfager, who finishes that one off for 2. And this has been all Lady Mustangs here so far. It's 7-0. The pressure again closing in on Fitzgibbons. Fitzgibbons going to move it across to Kowalski. Kowalski thinking about Bach in the middle. She's going to double dribble. And now it's Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs basketball. And, of course, too, Bill, we know that the Lady Mustangs arguably heavy favorites here, but you really want to go into the postseason firing on all cylinders. You really don't want this to be a close game or one you have to battle too hard for. Sumter going to miss that take off the glass.
Yeah, I mean, in a game like this, you just want to work on little things, to prepare you for the playoffs. We don't expect it to be a close game, but, you can always work on the little things.
Kowalski with the big pass across to Weiland, and the ball was going to end up in the hands of the Lady Mustangs anyway. Here's Harris across the timeline, going to move it to Irwin deep in the corner. Irwin fakes a shot, goes to Harris. Harris going to move top of the key, moves it to Swartfager on the far wing, and then back to Harris. Of course, the Yough Cougars colors are green and orange, and this gym has that color scheme all over. Easy look inside to Swartfager, nearly uncontested. Swartfager has 2, and it's a great start here for head coach Stuart Davis and the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs. 9-0 is your score. 4:35 to play in the first quarter, and Swartfager is going to take the ball away. She ends up on the floor with Weiland, and this one's going to stay with the Yough Lady Cougars.
Josh, we talked earlier in the broadcast about, the Lady Mustangs schedule, a good non-conference schedule, and, you have to, because you really can't pick your conference schedule. They have to play the Yough twice. They have to play Mount Pleasant, Southmoreland twice. There's nothing they can do about that. That's who's in your section. But, Coach Davis did a good job of scheduling some tougher non-conference games to get them ready for the playoffs. So, hopefully they can just work on some little things tonight, and gear up for probably next week.
Certainly, the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs have that opportunity tonight. Following the turnover, Swartfager across the timeline. Going to move it to Sumter, high post. Now Irwin in the corner. Irwin, little pass inside to Jenkins. Nice move by Jenkins as she turns to shoot. Just off the mark, she nearly tracks down her own rebound. Ball tips out to Harris for 3, and Harris is going to knock it down. Just the way they drew it up, Bill. No question about that.
Yeah, just bounce around a few times right to Harris and pop the 3. That's how I do it.
And, of course, now you do have 2 1,000-point scorers on this Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs team. Sumter achieving that feat earlier this week. Harris did it about 2 weeks ago. And 2 milestones met and plenty of offense here for the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs. And, Bill, I do believe, I could stand to be corrected on this, Fitzgibbons with a 3 from the sideline, no good. Easy rebound for Jenkins. The Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs, and here's a take by Sumter in the paint, turning, shooting, up and good. Still have that really phenomenal points for and points against average number, the best in their classification, I believe, still as of today.
I would say so. I didn't check on it, but I'm sure it's pretty close to the top, if not the top.
We'll check on that at the next break. I believe they still have that, which I think is a really, really telling couple of numbers. Miss here from the Lady Cougars. Harris coming back the other way to Swartfager, and it's going to be another basket for the Lady Mustangs, and we'll have a timeout taken here by the Yough Lady Cougars, which is going to give us a chance to check in on that number. 16-0 your score here. 2:56 to play in the first quarter. And I'm checking my math on the score sheet. Swartfager with 4, Sumter 4, Jenkins with 2, 1-3 each for Harris and Irwin. So a great start for the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs here in this final regular season contest. We're going to pull up the standings for 4A and take a quick look here. The Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs coming into this game averaged 59.6 points per contest, and that is, without question, the best in 4A. The only team that's remotely close is North Catholic, and they are a full point plus behind average per game. And points surrendered, the Lady Mustangs have surrendered 29.9 points per game, and they have that mark by an even wider margin. The next closest team, looking quickly here, appears to be Oakland Catholic with 32.2 points per contest. Turnover here in the ball for the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs yet again. 2:45 to play in the first quarter. Yough School District, of course, covers a lot of different communities here in southern Westmoreland County, including West Newton. West Newton home to about 2,600 people right along the Youghiogheny River. Taylor Irwin moving it up top to Righteous Richardson, who's checked into Harris. Harris for three. This one off the mark. Good effort here inside by Roebuck to try to save that rebound for the Lady Cougars, but she saves it to Sumter. Sumter misses inside, and we're going to have our first foul of the contest, I believe, against Ayara Jenkins. And we'll see that foul reported to the score table. It is against Jenkins. And Fitzgibbons in position to run point. Pass is going to be moved into her from Weiland. And Fitzgibbons will call the play. She goes to Bach. Bach looks at a cutter. Now is going to look back our way to Roebuck, top of the key. Roebuck, little handoff here to Fitzgibbons. Fitzgibbons nearly loses it to Richardson. Richardson doing a good job moving with her to Bach now. Sumter on Bach. Bach looking for help. Goes to Weiland. Weiland going to move the ball away from us. Receiving that pass is number 1 for the Yough Cougars, the 5'3" senior guard, Michelle Stebbin. But another turnover here for Yough, and it's going to be Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs basketball. Ball bounced into Taylor Swartfager, who now wears number 5. And she's going to lose the basketball here to the Yough Cougars. They push it ahead to Bach, 1-on-3. Bach moves it to the wing, now wants to come back up top, and she collides with Jenkins. Some head-to-head contact there, Bill. Hopefully everyone is okay. We're going to see Chloe Price checking in for the Lady Mustangs and Jaden Vay for the Lady Cougars. Jenkins going to get a breather here. She appears to be okay coming off the floor.
Well, you know, Josh, we talked about working on some stuff for your team. You know, one thing we don't want to see is any injuries in this last game of the regular season.
Oh, absolutely not. You certainly want to play it safe in that regard. This is going to be number 23, Evelyn Gates, handling the ball. She goes to Weiland. Weiland up top to Vay. Vay moving away from the defense, and she's going to get the ball to Kowalski, and this is going to be nearly turned over. Trying to save the ball for the Lady Cougars is Stebbin. She just barely will. She needs to get the ball to somebody. Floats up a big pass. She wanted to go to Gates there, but it goes to the Lady Mustangs. Harris, inside look. And a block here against number 10, Chloe Price, and the Lady Cougars end up with the basketball. They get it to Weiland. Weiland goes back to Gates. Gates going to handle the point guard responsibility here with 1:13 to play for the Yough Cougars. The Yough Cougars have struggled to score of late. In fact, just a few games ago against South Park, they scored just 8 points in the entire game. Here's Weiland on the sideline, moving into the corner. Ball knocked away by Richardson. This one will stay with the Yough Lady Cougars. And stepping out to send this one in is going to be number 1, Stebbin. Stebbin, one of the seniors on this Lady Cougar team. They have 4 total on the roster. They go to the corner to Gates. Gates going to pull up a deep jumper for 2. No good. Rebound cut off by Swartfager. Swartfager going to handle this one herself as she crosses the timeline, moving it away from us to Harris. Harris makes a cut, passes out to number 10, Chloe Price, and Price knocks down the 3. The 5'7" freshman guard, who has played some very good minutes this year for the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs, puts up a perfect shot, and it's 19-0 with 30 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Weiland trying to find some space against the Lady Mustangs. Easier said than done. They get the ball to Stebbin, now to Gates. They wanted to go to Roebuck. Chloe Price nearly taking it away there. Ball handed off again to Stebbin, now back to Gates. Gates moving it to Stebbin. 11 seconds on the clock. The Lady Cougars perhaps waiting for the last shot here. They go to Roebuck up top, and the ball nearly taken away by Harris. They move it away to Stebbin. Now to Gates for 3. No good, and that's going to do it. And one thing, Bill, I noticed at the end of that quarter, maybe you saw this, maybe you had a better angle on it than me. It looked like either Roebuck or Stebbin had dropped something on the floor, and Harris, the good sportsman or sportswoman, I should say that she is, stopped playing defense, picked it up, and handed it to her.
No, I didn't pick up on that. But that's,
mid-play.
Wow, that is a quite sportsmanlike.
Jenkins going to check back in for the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs. We want to thank our sponsors again. Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, the Sprouse Insurance Group, and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute, and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, Laurel Highlands Girls Basketball Boosters, and the South Union Township Supervisors, Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. We'd mentioned West Newton earlier in the broadcast. West Newton, of course, not too terribly far from here along the banks of the Youghh River. Bill, West Newton was originally founded as a community based around a ferry. That spot was picked because it was believed, and I think they were very close, considering, of course, that this is over 200 years ago when this occurred. That spot was chosen because it is exactly halfway along the Youghh River between Connellsville and McKeesport.
Oh, wow.
So if you're ever traveling the river, perhaps in a canoe or on a raft, and you're going from Connellsville to McKeesport, and you want to know when to stop for lunch, you stop in West Newton.
There you go, the halfway point. That was a perfect quarter for the Lady Mustangs, giving up 0 first quarter points.
Really helping out that average for and average against number, 19-0. The Lady Mustangs pitching a shutout here on a Thursday night in February. They're going to look Sumter, short corner, back out to Harris. Harris on the drive goes up for 2. Hart off the iron, no good. Rebound goes to Vay, and Vay's going to get it out to the corner to Weiland, and now they're going to give it to Fitzgibbons, who's back in. Fitzgibbons going to move the ball our way to Kowalski. Kowalski back to Fitzgibbons. They want to go middle to Vay. Vay does receive that pass between 2 defenders. Then away from us again to Weiland. Weiland up top. Fitzgibbons going to do that shovel pass. The Yough Lady Cougars have done that multiple times. We're going to have a blocking foul here called against Swartfager. That's going to be her first, and the first of the quarter for either team.
Yeah, it's a tough luck foul there on Schwartzberger. Yeah, she got knocked to the ground, but, you know, she was moving.
Bach checking in. Ball goes to Fitzgibbons. When Bill and I got here tonight, based on where we set up our equipment, we were a little worried for just a moment that we might take a seat away from a Yough fan. And obviously, when you're here to support the other team, turn over to Swartfager. Big leading pass to Jenkins. Jenkins working against Roebuck. What a great step and shot by Jenkins.
Yeah, nice Euro step there by Jenkins to get to the hoop and make the layup.
Great shot for her. 21-0 your score. And we were very grateful both to Yough for giving us the space and the opportunity to set up. Here's a held ball between Weiland, Irwin, and Swartfager.
Yes, they had electric for us as well,
yes.
So that was very nice. We didn't have to run any 40-foot
we
cords
found
or
out
anything.
we were on the visitor side, which is a little friendlier audience for us.
Yeah, we don't want to be cheering for the Lady Mustangs and getting stuff thrown at us. And
we've had a couple of close calls. No one waiting for us in the parking lot thus far anyway. Ball moved out. This is going to be a fake shot, and then a block by Irwin. That was number 22, Brooke Kowalski, who tried to set herself up, and Irwin stayed right with her, gets the block. This ball going to go to the Lady Mustangs. And, Bill, I think we're going to see Yough offer some pressure now.
Yeah, I mean, they got to try something, Josh. Try to get some points on the scoreboard somehow. You know, their offensive sets just aren't working. You know, the Lady Mustangs are too fast and too big.
I think we're seeing that right now. Jenkins easily down the floor for 2. Virtually uncontested. Jenkins has 6 points tonight.
Maybe a zone of some sort will be coming up, Josh.
We're going to see Fitzgibbons go back to Kowalski. And this ball is going to be an over and back, I believe. Yes, it will be. That was number 10, Daisy Miller, the 5'5 freshman guard who wanted to flip the ball back toward the timeline and missed her target. Price going to check back in. Richardson in. 23-0 your score.
Yeah, Josh, we might be talking about some of those odd scores you don't see very often in games that we were talking about last week.
Yes.
We had one. Me and Tony had one. I believe the Ringo game was 33-3 at one point.
Wow.
So that's quite an unusual score. And right now we're looking at 25-0. You don't see that very often either.
No, you do not.
Unless you're playing like third grade girls basketball at the YMCA. We might see that.
Bach looking inside. Kowalski turning, shooting. And the Lady Cougars are on the board. Brooke Kowalski able to get that one to go down. Coming right back, though, the Lady Mustangs will get those points right back. That was Taylor Irwin, who now has 5. 27-2 with 5:40 to play. Still a bit of an unusual score if you're playing scoregami at home. Here's Daisy Miller getting the ball to Bach, way away from the basket, though, of course, to Kowalski again. Kowalski wanted to go out to Fitzgibbons, and Fitzgibbons will nearly steal the ball right back from Chloe Price, although the ball will be awarded to the Lady Mustangs.
You know, Josh, we talk about these odd scores and whatnot. It seems like in high school girls basketball, we're seeing them more and more. The boys aren't quite as bad a lot of nights, but if you look at the scores every night, you're like, wow, that team won 55-7.
We have seen a lot of those this season.
You see a lot, it seems like, this season.
Yes. There have been a lot, both in the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs classification as a whole and in their section. Here's Price, the jumper, no good. And the rebound is going to be secured by the Lady Cougars. This is Fitzgibbons moving the ball to Bach. Bach thought about the cutter, now wants to go inside, and this is going to be a travel. Daisy Miller getting both feet off the floor and not releasing the basketball when they come back down.
And Josh, our buddy Brian Rozak and I, we talk about this all the time. What can be done to make these games more competitive? And he came up with an interesting idea of, if you're at the bottom three of your section, let's say, you have the option of moving down the following season. If you're in the top half, you got to stay where you're at. But if you're in the bottom three, you get to move down and make it more competitive for your school, your team. Because what section you play in based on size of your school, I just think is really not a fair way to do it.
Right.
Because, you could be a big school and nobody plays basketball.
Exactly.
So
priority might be wrestling,
yes,
swimming,
there's other things schools are known for, and it's just really not a fair way to assess schools, I don't think, by just the number of students they have. So I really like that idea Brian has, of allowing teams to move up and down based on where they finish.
I do too, actually. I think that would be fine.
I think we see a lot more competitive games in every sport.
Swartfager going to work here against Fitzgibbons and drew some contact. Bach ends up with the basketball. She wants to lead Fitzgibbons the other way, and Fitzgibbons nearly blocked there by Jenkins. Rebound's going to go to Price. Price has the ball taken away by Fitzgibbons. She gets it to Kowalski. Kowalski misses. Now Miller is going to fire one up. No good. Rebound taken by Chloe Price. Price ahead to Richardson. Richardson, nice bounce pass through to Jenkins, who pulls up for two.
Yeah, that was a great pass by Richardson. I didn't think I had a chance to get there, and it somehow got there for a layup and an assist.
31-2 your score.
Yeah, that's an all one.
The Lady Cougars looking to get something going here in the closing minutes of the first half. Bach wants to hand it off to Fitzgibbons. She will. Fitzgibbons on the far wing, looking for help, goes to Kowalski. Kowalski pulls it way back out. Now this one's nearly taken away by Irwin. Kowalski still with the basketball after the ball bounced back to her. Going to Bach, short corner. Bach working her way up and in. And Haley Bach has 2 points.
Yeah, nice looking layup there. Spin move, got to the basket and scored.
Swartfager to Jenkins. Jenkins going to hold. Watches two players cut through, then goes to Irwin. Irwin likes the three ball, and this one's hard off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound's going to go to Daisy Miller. Miller across the timeline looking for help, gets the ball to Fitzgibbons. Fitzgibbons calls the play, moves the ball to Bach. Screen off the ball is going to be Maya Broadwater. Broadwater then is the receiver, catching the ball. Fitzgibbons wanted to go back to Miller. Miller barely avoids the tie-up. Back to Fitzgibbons. Fitzgibbons under the bucket, twisting and turning, and she gets two.
Josh, the Lady Cougars, they really have some nice ball movement and some movement without the ball. If this was a soccer game and we were keeping track of time of possession, I think they'd be winning in that aspect of the game.
I think so, too, because the Lady Mustangs have generally so far scored very quickly. Here's Irwin.
But they just can't seem to get the ball going towards the basket. That's the problem. They're moving a lot without it, with it, but they're just not going to the basket enough.
There are a lot of left to right so far. Working around the arc, often even several feet off of the arc. Here's Fitzgibbons going to lose the basketball to Swartfager. Lead ahead to Richardson. Miller in pursuit. Richardson goes up, misses, but Price is there to clean it up, and Price has two more. And we're going to have a 30-second timeout taken by the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs. Price has 7 points now so far, does the freshman, with 1:50 to play here in the first half. We want to thank our sponsors tonight, Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis, attorneys at law, the Sprouse Insurance Group, and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, Laurel Highlands Girls Basketball Boosters, and the South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. We're here in southern Westmoreland County. Fayette County, of course, Bill, was part of Westmoreland County until 1783. Fayette was carved from Westmoreland, and we're not too far right now from where that carving took place. Largely the location based upon the Youghiogheny River, not entirely, but the Youghiogheny River for most of its time in Pennsylvania is either flowing along a Fayette County border or through Fayette County. Fayette County formed in 1783 and named for the Marquis de Lafayette, an American Revolutionary War hero who came to aid the American cause from France. And he was very much a young man, a living figure at that time, and even had a chance to later visit Fayette County. Here's a jumper from Richardson, no good. Rebound is going to be pulled down. Nicely done there by number 12, Bella Dolacari. Ball now to Daisy Miller for two, no good. This one is going to be knocked back again to Dolacari. No, excuse me, that was Miller on the rebound. Ball to Weiland, now to Dolacari up top. Dolacari, the 5'3 freshman guard, gets the ball to Weiland. Weiland to Roebuck. Roebuck, little pivot step here. Then to a cutting Dolacari. Dolacari going to be blocked by Sumter. Ball saved back to the Lady Mustangs. Richardson to Sumter. Big one to Harris. 2-on-1. And it's going to be Harris herself who finishes that one off. And Harris has 5. 37-6 your score with 45 seconds to play. Dolacari will handle the basketball across the timeline, then hand it off to Weiland. Weiland on the cut, wanted to go left there, loses the ball back to Dolacari. Bella Dolacari going to move the ball away from us now to Daisy Miller. Miller back up top to Weiland. Weiland to Dolacari. 25 seconds. The Yough Lady Cougars may well hold here for the last shot. 20 seconds to go. Dolacari to Roebuck, short corner, working across the near block. Hook shot, no good. Rebound pulled down by Roebuck. Roebuck going to dribble out of trouble. Harris nearly able to take the ball. Roebuck will pull up a jumper, no good. Rebound again to Roebuck. Roebuck again will escape trouble. Get the ball to Dolacari, and Dolacari lays it in for two. 37-8 will be your score going into halftime. We're going to take a short break here on the South Union Township Sports Network. We'll be back momentarily with a halftime show for you, and then, of course, in just a short time, the third quarter. 37-8 your score. Welcome back to Yough High School here on the South Union Township Sports Network. Joshua Scully and Bill Dice with you tonight. 37-8 is your score. 19 points in the first quarter for Laurel Highlands, 18 in the second. They are led so far tonight by Ayara Jenkins, who has 8 points. 7 points for Chloe Price, 7 points for Taylor Irwin, 5 points for Maya Harris, 6 points for Taylor Swartfager, 4 points for Ariana Sumter, for a total of 37. For the Yough Cougars, they have 4 players with 2 points each. Those players are Carly Fitzgibbons, Bella Dolakari, Brooke Kowalski, and Haley Bach. South Union Township Sports Network would like to thank our sponsors tonight: Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis and Davis Attorneys at Law, the Sprouse Insurance Group and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, Laurel Highlands Girls Basketball Boosters, and South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. South Union Township Sports Network coverage is a joint cooperative venture with Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, along with Armstrong and Breezeline Cable, plus our friends at CUTV, including Gary Smith. Bill, we're not too terribly far away now as we're anticipating high school basketball playoffs in the very near future. Baseball and softball also just around the corner. We've had some much warmer weather recently this week. Yes. Almost felt spring-like earlier in the week.
I suspect those teams are probably already getting ready with some winter workouts, getting ready for some baseball and softball. Track will be coming up. Also I'm sure there's probably baseball teams out on the baseball field today, or out on the football field today. I'm sure, anytime it gets nice out like this, they're itching to get outside. So I'm sure they were probably out throwing the ball around, if nothing else.
Beautiful day today. Of course, big weekend here in the United States, Super Bowl weekend.
Yes, the big game. The big game. Manny's favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs, are playing again. So
Philadelphia Eagles playing again.
Yes.
All you need to say, playing again. The Kansas City Chiefs, boy, what a run they've had.
Yes, and it's, I guess, really the only thing to look forward to in this game, Josh, is see how quick we get to the mercy rule. It's 37-8.
Could be this possession.
1 point away. Let's see.
This is going to be Harris from the backcourt, bringing the ball right to left now for the Lady Mustangs, left to right for the Lady Cougars. Swartfager likes the 3-point look there. No good. Roebuck rebound. Going to move it our way to Weiland. Now back to Fitzgibbons. Carly Fitzgibbons, the 5'4 junior guard, will cross the timeline right across the Cougar here at Yough High School. Ball goes Roebuck, then Weiland. Weiland going to look to our wing and then move away from that spot. Now coming back that way. Little handoff here is going to go to Kowalski. Kowalski in trouble. Irwin nearly able to get a hand in. She gets back to Fitzgibbons, and Fitzgibbons has the ball poked out by Harris. And they'll award this one to the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs. Apparently, Fitzgibbons had a touch as the ball went out.
Yeah. Coach here for Yough asking if that ball was tipped. It surely looked like it. And this older gentleman referee tonight said he didn't see it, so he wants it to get to 30 points as well.
Brian Zanover, head coach for Yough. Jumper here for Jenkins, no good. Rebound goes to Roebuck. She gets the ball to Fitzgibbons.
Josh, earlier in the game you were talking about the Cougar colors, the green and orange. Now, I kind of like those colors, that color combination.
I do too.
But then I was thinking, I think I like any combination with the orange just about, because I like the Florida Gators as well.
This is very Florida Gator-esque. Bach with the big made 3.
Cuts the lead to 26.
Swartfager inside give to Sumter, and Sumter's going to draw the foul here against Bach.
She almost got that to go somehow. I don't know how she even got it up to the hoop, but she did. Sumter goes to the line for 2, scores 37-11, 6:33 to go in the third quarter. Of course, the Lady Mustangs will be awaiting those playoff brackets on Monday.
Sumter to shoot 2. First shot on the way, and no good. And, Bill, you said probably Monday on those.
Monday, yes. Then also we'll have the Laurel Highlands boys and the Uniontown boys games tomorrow night in some capacity online on Facebook.
Nearly turned over there. Sumter gets one at the foul line. Sumter actually took the first 2 foul shots this entire game for the Lady Mustangs.
Yeah, we haven't seen...
Those were the first foul shots for either team.
Yeah, I was going to say, have we seen it for Yough? So very clean game as far as fouls go.
38-11, ball with Roebuck now. Roebuck across the top of the key. Hands it off to Kowalski. Back to Fitzgibbons. She wanted Roebuck on the cut. Could not quite get the ball to her. Now she's going to slip and fall and land on top of the basketball. Held ball will go to the Yough Cougars. And checking back in will be Evelyn Gates, the 5'5 sophomore guard.
Substitution for Yough, number 23, Evelyn Gates.
6:03 to play in the third quarter, 38-11. Fitzgibbons is going to step out and stand on the A&M Cougars to send this in. Ball up top to Roebuck. Roebuck, little scoop shot, gets it to go. Really,
Yough's on an 8-1 run. Start the third.
Harris, bounce pass to Jenkins, inside to Sumter. Sumter up off the glass, no good. Rebound going to be pulled down by Bach.
The Yough Cougars, they've really been clearing the glass here so far in this third quarter. Josh, there's been no second chance opportunities for the Lady Mustangs.
Bach looking for a target. Getting the ball through to Gates. Now back to Roebuck. Roebuck to Gates again on the far sideline up top. To Fitzgibbons. Bach looking for a target now. We'll get it to Roebuck. The Yough Cougars' approach has remained pretty consistent. They have shot better this half so far. But they really keep the ball outside. They are not trying to test the Lady Mustangs too much. Off the mark there is Bach. Rebound Sumter to Harris. Big leading pass to Jenkins and a quick behind the back look to Swartfager for 2.
I'll have to look on the screen here for that one, Josh, because I missed it. I was looking at the camera, and sometimes you forget how small this viewfinder is on the camera. So I kind of missed that one on my view, but hopefully I didn't on the camera.
Coming right back. And getting this basket is Fitzgibbons. She has 4 points tonight. Beautiful pass by Jenkins. It was a behind-the-back bounce pass to Swartfager. Jenkins going to get this one to Irwin. Irwin thinks about a 3, now takes a long 2 off the mark. Rebound Sumter, and Sumter has the ball knocked away by Roebuck.
Right, the metrics was said just to shoot the 3 on that one, right, Josh? You know, long 2 or a 3, you might as well take the 3. Right. I don't think she's quite ready to shoot yet, though, on the first opportunity.
Swartfager from the Owen Cougars to Sumter. Now back to Swartfager coming out of the corner, nearly traveled. To Irwin, high post to Jenkins. Jenkins, nice move here. Goes up for 2, no good. Sumter gets the rebound, and she's going to be fouled and will be returning to the foul line. Bill, I did a little bit of research on Cougars in anticipation of this game. Not much of a Cougar population left in the eastern United States. Sumter first shot on the way, no good. Cougars, also known as mountain lions, catamounts, in some places referred to as panthers, especially in the southeastern United States. This shot on the way, also no good. Rebound nearly pulled down by Irwin, and Bach's going to take it away. Bach, little work here, little move, nearly loses the ball at the timeline, gets it to Gates. Gates gets cut off. Now this pass is stolen by Jenkins, and Jenkins is gone. Up for 2, and there it is. Ayara Jenkins leading all scorers right now with 10 points. Her first 2 of this half, and it's 42-15. Fitzgibbons on the drive. Gets under the bucket there, no good. Coming back the other way. Sumter, big leading pass to Harris, 2-on-1. Harris going to keep it herself, and the floater is good, up off the glass and in. 44-15. And the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs back in the groove here with about 3:21 to play in quarter number 3. Gates on the drive, has the ball casually taken away by Sumter. who throws a beautiful, call that Patrick Mahomes-esque, dropping it in the bucket to Harris, since we were talking Super Bowl. And Harris is going to shoot 2. Foul line has not been too kind so far to the Lady Mustangs. Harris looking to reverse that trend. But, Bill, not many Cougars left in the eastern U.S. In fact, there are some states that historically had Cougar populations, such as Pennsylvania. That one's good. That report virtually a zero population. If there are Cougar sightings, the population is so sparse that it's essentially unconfirmed. There is a small wild population in Florida, which I'm assuming is where we get the Florida Panthers moniker for the NHL team that operates in Florida, one of the NHL teams. Shot on the way for Harris. This one also good. Harris gets both at the line. Still a Cougar population out west in the Rocky Mountains.
And speaking of hockey, it looks like we had a line change for the Lady Mustangs.
Yes, a whole fresh new group. Richardson out front. Of course, we've seen Chloe Price already. But also on the floor, we've got Lola McLusack, the sophomore, along with Madison Brooks, the junior forward, and Isabella Paschke, the sophomore forward. And this is going to cue up a timeout, a full timeout taken by the Yough Lady Cougars. We want to thank our sponsors again tonight. Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis, attorneys at law, the Sprouse Insurance Group, and Agent David Hughes, SWGI specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, Laurel Highlands Girls Basketball Boosters, South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. If you're watching this game on Breezeline or Armstrong Cable, we'd like to let you know that South Union Township Sports Network games and programs are now available live online. It's easy to find. Just log on to youtube.com and search South Union Television to find the archive broadcasts, or follow the South Union Township Sports Network on Facebook for live games. Facebook.com/South Union TV. You do sometimes occasionally read about Cougar attacks on people, especially in the western United States. That still does happen. In fact, in this century, we've had some fatal Cougar attacks in the United States. Ball going to be moved here. First to Dolakari, now working away from us to Miller. Inside pass here. They're going to get the ball to Broadwater. No good on the shot. Rebound going to be seized by McLusack. McLusack's going to lose the ball inside. Fighting hard is Broadwater. Now the basketball finally taken away by the Lady Mustangs. 2:28 to play. 46-15. Richardson going to look our way to Price. Price off the wing. Big pass inside, going to be taken away by the Lady Cougars. That's Miller. Miller has it stolen right back. This is going to be Brooks with the steal. Brooks then has the ball stolen again on that pass. It's Miller. Miller trying to kick the ball ahead to herself. Can't quite get it there. Now she's going to be tied up with Richardson. Held basketball.
That was a heck of a little sequence there, Josh. Back and forth. Neither team really could get past the volleyball 10-foot line.
We've got essentially fresh groups for both teams on the floor right now. Richardson with 1:42 to play in the quarter to Price. Price going to have the ball stolen by Miller. Miller on the drive through the paint, goes up for 2. No good. And we're going to actually have a foul called here.
Looks like our first free throws for Yough tonight coming up.
Bella Dolakari was able to get her hands on the basketball, and she tried to lift up a shot off the glass. No, they're going to say it was on the floor.
Well, interesting.
Foul is called on Isabella Paschke. Richardson tips this inbound pass back across the baseline. 63 seconds in the third quarter. Of course, the clock is not going to stop again, except at the end of this quarter. We are now in the mercy rule. Dolakari winds up and fires a big pass out to number 22, Kowalski. Ball comes back to us to Dolakari. Dolakari, who's coming off the bench in this game and is just a freshman, has played a really good all-around effort here. Now this ball will be taken away. Vey had wanted to go back to Dolakari. Price ends up with it, and it's Price and Dolakari working inside, and this is going to be a double dribble call against the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs. Score at halftime was 37-8. So this has been a relatively strong quarter for the Yough Lady Cougars. They, of course, really struggled out of the gate. The first quarter they did not score. 3 seconds on the clock. Here's Kowalski. Gets tied up now trying to pop it out to Vey. And Vey's going to launch one. No good. And that's going to do it for 3 quarters. That quarter, not a bad one for the Yough Cougars. The Lady Mustangs put together a total of 9 points, 3 from the foul line. In that quarter, the Lady Mustangs were 3 of 6 from the foul line. They got field goals also from Harris, Jenkins, and Swartfager. The Yough Cougars did have a made 3 from Haley Bach in that quarter. She has 5. They also got 2 from Roebuck and Fitzgibbons for a total of 7 in the third frame. And I think we're going to see most of the starters returning for the Yough Lady Cougars, but coming onto the floor for the Lady Mustangs, might even call that group, Bill, the team of the future. We've got a sophomore in Swartfager, a sophomore in McLusack, a junior in Brooks. No, I apologize. That's Paschke. That's a sophomore in Paschke, a freshman in Price, and a senior in Richardson.
Yeah,
So
all they
several
need
of
out there
those-
is maybe Jenkins during the mix or Irwin. Then they would have a look
Yeah.
at next year's squad.
Truly. Here's Roebuck on the wing. Going to move the ball up top to Weiland and away from us to Stebbin. Stebbin trying to get the ball inside to Bach, and Bach is going to draw a foul inside. Now Bach will take the first foul shots of the game for the Lady Cougars.
Substitution for Laurel Highlands was number 5, Taylor Shortfager, who also was committed to foul in the first quarter.
This one's going to be called against Swartfager. Bach good on the first shot. Pretty safe game, really, too, Bill. We've not had many personal fouls called at all.
No, not at all.
Bach no good. Rebound going to be pulled down by number 10, Chloe Price, the 5'7" freshman guard. She gets it to Richardson. So Bach gets one at the line, and it's 46-16. Richardson to McLusack, now coming our way to Price, then to Richardson. Richardson going to take the drive. She's blocked by Bach, and the ball goes right to Fitzgibbons. She pushes it ahead to Wineland. Wineland is going to lose the ball as Swartfager blocks and then slaps the ball across the baseline. Clock continuing to move, 7:05 to play. Thank you, as always, for checking us out on the South Union Township Sports Network. Ball going to go to Price. Price gets it back to Swartfager. Swartfager, big pass ahead to Richardson. Now one more to Paschke, and to Richardson again, going to launch the 3 ball. This one off the side of the rim, no good. And the rebound will escape everyone.
Are 5-6-3-2-7-7-0.
Bill, I don't know this for sure because I'm looking a very long distance. Ball moved into Fitzgibbons. But I think we've got a gentleman here with a vintage Philadelphia Eagles sweater on, so he's ready for the Super Bowl early.
Oh, wow.
Here's Weiland to Roebuck. Roebuck going to work her way in, go up, no good. Rebound is tied up between Roebuck and McLusack. Then Swartfager got some hands on it.
Oh.
And we're going to have a foul called against Swartfager out of that somehow. Checking in, Madison Brooks.
Foul called on number 5 for Laurel Highlands, Taylor Shortfager.
Chloe Price will check out.
Substitution
Fitzgibbons to send this in
between 3 Madison Brooks.
from the RN Cougars. Ball going to be tipped by Brooks. Lady Cougars end up with it. Miss on the shot. McLusack with the rebound, looking for an outlet. And she's going to try to fire a pass over Bach. Bach able to take it away. This pass is going to be tipped by Swartfager, and for a moment Fitzgibbons ended up with it. Now it's a held basketball, and it'll be awarded to the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs.
Yeah, Josh, there between quarters, I was trying to find some scores from some 4A games on the Twitter, but no such luck. I'm really curious about that Hampton-Hopewell situation.
Right, because that, if one of those teams were to win, would really mix things up. Here's Swartfager plowing through
also
and getting that shot to stick.
Also interested in an EF South Park game, but the other one really has my interest.
Inside look here, goes up with it is Michelle Stebbin, and Stebbin has 2.
Josh, earlier in the day I was talking with somebody and I said, when there's 2 teams tied for the section and they split the head-to-head, why don't they just play a third game? Back in the old days,
I sort of like that.
You used to only get 1 team in for a section. You had to win the section to make the playoffs. And that's what they did. That happened lots of times. Teams would split in the regular season, then they'd have to play in to get in. But, I don't know why. Sometimes they, almost punish other sections. They don't get to play in game. And, that happens quite often. I don't know why they don't just make those teams play each other.
I don't dislike that idea, Bill. And, for many years, in very pivotal fashion, that's how Major League Baseball settled ties at the end of the season. The infamous 163rd game.
Yeah, I mean,
those
games are, that much more interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think so, too, because it does create a playoff atmosphere almost immediately anyway. Swartfager no good there. Fitzgibbons able to get the rebound. We're under 4 minutes here. 48-18.
There's been times, Josh, where Uniontown and Laurel Highlands have played 3 times in one season, and to win the section playing game, which, I can only imagine what that atmosphere would be like for a game like that, to win to get in.
I could not imagine. Here's Bach losing the ball to Sumter. Ball outletted to Irwin. I do appreciate, though, that regardless of the circumstances, Uniontown and Laurel Highlands, good shot there by Swartfager. Those basketball games always still pack the house.
Yeah, they do, but not like they used to. Though. Still, I think maybe our broadcasts are getting so good that people think they can just stay home and not really come out if they don't have to, and
order DoorDash.
Still watch it. Order DoorDash, and just sit back on the couch and watch the game on the big screen.
That's right.
Not deal with the crowds, but in my opinion, you still can't beat high school athletics in person. It's great. I think we do a decent job, but it's to be here in person, the crowd, in a hostile environment. It's always exciting, I think.
Oh, it is. It really is. And of course, we've been really fortunate in Fayette County. We've got several good basketball programs, both boys and girls right now. That inbound pass is blocked back out by the Lady Mustangs, so the Yough Cougars, Dolakari, is going to try again. Bella Dolakari looking at Daisy Miller, then moving the ball away from us. And this is going to be a little floater that draws a foul from Isabella Pennance, the 5'4" freshman guard.
Josh, I think we've had more fouls in this fourth quarter with the running clock than we did the first 3 quarters.
I think so.
It's been kind of impressive or unimpressive. I think the referees are just trying to get out of here without going up and down the court as many times. We do have 2 gentlemen or let's just say experience in life.
The Yough Cougars will send this in from the baseline, trying to get it over Richardson. And this is going to be stolen. Chloe Price comes up with the ball off the tip, just over 90 seconds to play. Ball pushed ahead to Richardson. One more to McLusack, and Lola McLusack.
Nice pass there, too.
Delivers for 2. So far this quarter has been 6-3 in favor of the Lady Mustangs. And we're going to see a foul called here against Isabella Paschke.
I'll see some foul shots on this one, I believe.
Isabella Pennance will be
and,
your shooter.
Josh, I'm trying to find these scores, man. It's really upset me. It's just the girls' athletics just aren't as covered as as well as the boys.
They tend not to be, unfortunately.
I can't even find a score for a game that's going on right now. Some big games.
Neither shot good here at the foul line. Price tracks down the rebound. Some pressure from the Lady Cougars. Price gets the ball to Richardson. 52-18, your score, under a minute to play. Ball to Brooks. Nice drive by Brooks. She gets blocked, and the ball goes to McLusack. No good on the shot. This one's going to be awarded to the Yough Lady Cougars.
So, Josh, what did we say the Lady Mustangs' totals averages were? 59?
59 and 29.
All right, well, they're going to be under both of those tonight.
A little back and forth. Quick pass to the short corner. No good on the shot. Richardson, fast break, 2-on-1. Dolakari trying to play catch-up. Dolakari is going to foul from behind. And at the foul line now will be Righteous Richardson.
Foul call number 12 for Yough, Bella Dolakari. Her first team first period.
The Yough Lady Cougars from the foul line tonight, 1 of 4. The Lady Mustangs, as of this moment, 3 of 6. This one's going to bounce out off the base of the rim.
Josh, I do think Coach Stu Davis, he can take away the foul shooting tonight. That's something they can focus on practice in the next few days. So it has not been very good tonight.
Right, just 4 of 8 all told. Dolakari going to find her way past the score table. And they want to get the ball down low on the far block to Abigail Kosalter, but this one's taken away again by the Lady Mustangs. And McLusack nearly able to save that. Now Richardson gets the steal and launches one as the buzzer sounds here inside of Yough High School. Your final score, 53-18. We're going to give you some totals as well as soon as we take a moment to thank our sponsors a final time. This broadcast was made possible thanks to Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis, attorneys at law, the Sprouse Insurance Group, and agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute, and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, Laurel Highlands Girls Basketball Boosters, and the South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. Your final score, again, was 53-18. Let's see how we got to this point. The Yough Lady Cougars scored no points in the first quarter, 8 in the second, 7 in the third, 3 in the fourth. And as far as their overall scores are concerned, senior Michelle Stebbin, who had their only field goal in the fourth quarter, finishes the game with 2 points. 4 points for Carly Fitzgibbons, who operated most of the evening as their point guard. 2 points for Bella Dolakari. 2 points from Cadence Roebuck. 2 points for Brooke Kowalski. And their leading scorer ended up being Haley Bach, who finishes with a total of 6 points for the Yough Lady Cougars. On the Lady Mustang side, they score 19 in the first, 18 in the second, 9 in the third. And they closed out the game scoring 7 points in the final frame. Their totals for tonight, we're going to just work right down the roster. Maya Harris is going to finish with 9. She was perfect from the foul line, the only player tonight who took a foul shot and did not miss at least one. Harris made all of her free throw attempts. Ayara Jenkins will finish with 10 points. 1 point for Righteous Richardson. A total of 12 points for Taylor Swartfager. 7 points for Chloe Price. Ariana Sumter will finish with 5 points. 2 points for Lola McLusack. 7 points for Taylor Irwin. That means Taylor Swartfager, who finishes with 12, is also going to lead all scorers tonight. Ayara Jenkins also in double figures for the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs with 10. 53-18 is indeed your final score. Bill, any final thoughts?
No, let's just keep our eyes open for his brackets. That's really what I'm looking forward to see who the Lady Mustangs play in round 1 and where and time and date so we can set our schedules. So that's really all I got to look forward to really in the next few days.
We're looking forward to knowing that probably in the space of about 4 days' time, and we'll make sure we share that with you. And, of course, we're going to do everything we can to make sure we bring coverage of those games because we do certainly anticipate there being games, not just one for the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs, but a lot of basketball yet to be played for head coach Stu Davis and his girls team at Laurel Highlands. Today's game on the South Union Township Sports Network has been a joint cooperative venture with Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, along with Armstrong and Breezeline Cable and our friends at CUTV, including Gary Smith. Your final score, Laurel Highlands 53, Yough 18 for Bill Dice. I'm Joshua Scully. You've been watching the South Union Township Sports Network.